Hello.
Hey, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Beth, how are
Hey,
you?
Beth.
I'm good. I'm good. The
Good.
spring
Good, good,
break is
good.
over.
Oh,
Look,
it's
you don't want to talk about that.
Tanya just came back
Oh,
from vacation. I'm
yes.
like, I need to go somewhere.
So for those of
Hmm.
you that watched our current, what do we call it? Like hot topics or current topics?
Basically. Mm-hmm.
Last week I was outside at Pounce Market in Atlanta and it was beautiful and I was so distracted. And Keila kept saying, "Are you by the music? Are you walking by the music?" Because they had like a lot. It was like the middle of summer. It seems there were so many people out. The band was playing. We were walking around. It was like a festival. But they get this like every week, and it's the belt, Atlanta belt. So it could be likened to our what do they call it? The graduate cut. What do they call it?
Uh-huh.
The
Which
quitter.
is tripped out because that's every weekend. It's not even summer yet. So I wonder what do they do in the summer?
Probably more people out. But
Wow.
anyway, so yeah, I do want to thank you guys for your patience and tuning in last week or the rewatch, whatever you did, because I was out there loving it. Yep. So anywho, we have
Hey.
we have Beth with us today. Beth, how are you?
Good.
You're
Good.
good. You're good. Your hair is beautiful.
It
Thank
is.
you.
I love Beth hair.
Yes, and we
Thank
thank
you.
you for being a friend of our show, and we do not take for granted when you're on here. Not at all. So before we jump in, let's do our brain. Our why do I keep calling it a brain teaser? Our icebreaker, because it's not Akila's looking like that. I'm not doing anything that's going to teach your brain this week. Um, just like a few questions. That's all. That's all. And then we'll take a little breather and then come back. I'll introduce Beth and we'll get into our topic for the day. So just 5 questions and that's it.
Okay.
Okay, ready? When you play this game, which one do you usually choose? Rock, paper, or scissors?
I normally choose rock.
Scissors.
Scissors. I do rock too because I'm like sometimes I just get out
Right.
the way.
But you know what's weird about that whole entire game is I still don't understand it. It's like what beats what? I mean, because why would somebody choose paper?
Because
I mean,
paper could sometimes cover the rock. But then if someone chooses scissors and papers cut the scissors. I don't know.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never get it. I just be screaming out something. I don't know if I ever win.
Are you a lefty or you're righty?
I'm a righty.
I'm a righty.
You're right. Okay, we're all right-handed. Okay. Do you know
I
any
actually can
lefties?
write very well with both, but I
Mm.
am predominantly right.
Wow. And you do a lot
Oh.
of things even-handedly?
I
Yeah.
can.
You can. Okay.
Hmm.
That's pretty good. That means you're using both sides of your brain at all times.
That's what they say, but I still be making wrong choices in life. But okay, let's keep going.
Okay. I don't think it has anything to do with that.
Okay.
Would you rather listen to music or read a book?
Oh, Tiny, that's hard.
Is
It
it?
is.
Is it?
It depends on what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's a
If I'm
very
cleaning,
difficult.
I want to listen to the music. If I'm laying out by a pool, I want to read a book.
Okay.
They both are my absolute favorites, and I drown out in both. So it is very hard. But just for the sake of this, I'm gonna probably just say music.
You're gonna say
But
music?
know that books are like a even
Yeah.
right with it.
And for me, I'll say reading because I've started doing like a audio books.
Hmm.
And so I'll listen to that in the car before I listen to music. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's how I do. I listen to at least 3 books a month. So it's very difficult. This is a very difficult one. But
I've
yeah.
never listened to an audiobook before.
Some of
Oh,
them are pretty good, and
And
some
I
of
they
them
was
are.
thinking
you.
that maybe I should do that and that would get me to walk. Like maybe
Yeah.
I would walk and listen to a book. That
Mhm.
way I could be doing two things that I want to do for
Now,
myself.
I'm gonna tell you, some of the books it depends on who does the voices because some of them I'll be like, but but I do. I'm with Tanya. I used to need the paperback, But now that everything is just be moving, I found that the audiobooks are much
Yeah.
easier.
So I'll tell you, my two books got me to and from Atlanta because we drove. And when my kids weren't talking and when they were otherwise engaged, I popped my book in my ear and I was cruising.
Right.
It was
I
pretty easy.
like it. While
Yeah.
you were driving?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Oh, girl, you good.
Yep. I popped I only put one earbud in because I have to be able to hear what's going on. But yeah,
Okay.
but it was cool. It was cool. Okay.
Nice.
Jog or walk?
Oh, walk.
Um,
If you see me running, you better run too. Something bad is happening.
I'm gonna say trot. Like I'm in the middle because
Okay.
yeah, because it's amazing that as short as my legs are, people always say they can't keep up with me.
Yeah.
So if I'm actually exercising, I'm not gonna do a actual jog, but I am gonna be walking more faster paced than the average person.
Okay, so I would say walk. I want to jog so bad, but I feel like I'm going to die. And I'm and I'm like, Beth, if you see me running, you better run too.
Something bad is happening.
Something bad is happening. Okay, then the last question. Toilet paper. Over or under?
Definitely over for me.
Over for me, Beth.
I can go either way.
Really?
Doesn't make a difference.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I think it's a mental thing, but I be feeling
it
like
is.
people waste too much toilet paper when it's under. I don't know. I don't even know if that's even it. I just like the way it look over.
I do too. And if I use your restroom and I see that it's under, I'm gonna sneak and turn it over.
Are you gonna fix it? Don't even
I
care.
leave the house, and then it's like I get an attitude when I go in my restroom and the kids put it under.
Yeah, because they don't care. The
No.
kids don't.
What are they doing?
My bathroom quirkiness is I don't like trash in the bathroom trash can. Like I have a garbage can and a nice little bag, but I don't want to see anything in it. Walk it to the kitchen and throw it away.
Straight up. Like you, well, that's what I'm not gonna lie to you, Beth. I kind of agree with you, but I ended up buying a trash can that you gotta put your foot on so the lid come up because I don't like to look down in there either.
Mhm.
So I'm partially with you on that one.
Huh? That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little different because it's weird because it's just us here. But I feel like when I have company, for
Mhm.
the girl time of the month, I don't want those sitting in it's just weird.
Or just
So
anything.
you just don't like nothing in there.
No.
That is so funny.
I just put it in there so I appear normal. But no, I don't like any
Well,
garbage.
Keela mentioned like the girl. I have 3 girls, and so I literally that was one of the first things I taught them. And if it's that time, we're going all the way there. They cannot use the bathroom downstairs. They have to do that upstairs because I'm like, we're not doing that down here. So yeah.
Yeah,
so
because even though they're wrapped, you know what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like,
yeah.
I mean, and I haven't but even with the little, you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
How do we get to this talking about toilet
I
paper?
don't
Because
know, but
I
I
don't
don't even have girls in my house.
We're going all the way there, I guess. Like you
We did,
said.
just that quick. So hey Vern, hey Crystal, hey Doris Graham, hey Ann. Oh no, Crystal said I can't come to her house because she does under. Yep, Crystal. And now when
I don't know what I do. I have to get up and go look. I don't know.
I will be flipping it right over when you're not paying attention. Yep, and Vern loves audiobooks too. So anyway, Vern, let's just talk about that really quick. When we're on their show, oh my goodness, I realized I really need to listen to and just get into some music because you guys lost me a few times.
Well, I mean, that's okay. You named some dynamite people.
Yeah,
From the
I didn't
90s.
really back it up like I wanted to. I just know that, oh, he's cute. I think music sounds good. So next time I'm gonna be ready for you guys. Okay. So we're going to talk about autism because this is Autism Awareness Month, and that's why Beth is here. So I'll introduce her in a second. And so where are we going, ladies?
We are. Oh, Tanya, the DJ. Okay, wait, hold on, guys. I got a little distracted. Okay, say it again.
Oh my goodness. Wait, take 2. Where are we going? Where are we going?
We are going all the way
All the way
there.
there.
All the way there.
Where are we going today? All the way there. Let's go.
Hey guys.
Hey, I'm just trying to understand Bert's comment.
Yeah.
Firecrackers.
I guess the firecrackers are the red. I guess maybe their attitude.
I'm like reading this, like, what does he mean?
That's what
Okay,
made me
never
distracted.
mind.
That's what got me distracted. His comment, because I'm like, what?
Okay, so anyway, so April is Autism Awareness, and we have Beth here with us. Beth is like a friend of our show. We love having Beth on our show. Beth is a mother, a teacher. She's a woman of God. She is a therapist. Funny lady. Beth is hilarious. And she's also someone who loves autism.
Yeah.
Loves someone with autism.
Mhm.
Yes. And why is that, Beth?
Well, my son Richard has autism. And I've also had, I guess, number of students who have autism, and I love them as well.
Oh, because they're lovable.
They are. They're quirky. They're fun.
Yeah. Can we see Richard when he was a baby?
Yes.
The collage of pictures. Look at Richard.
Oh, he's so
look
cute.
at him.
Look at all of those pictures.
Yes. Yes.
Handsome baby.
He is.
The fireman picture,
Mm-hmm.
that was at Halloween, and he really wanted to be Pocahontas, and I knew his dad would kill me. He kept picking up the Pocahontas, and and Richard is nonverbal, so he was pulling his shirt down and putting his face on it, because Pocahontas has that little
Right.
thing, and he wanted that, and I was like, no, your dad will kill me. So I made him be the fireman.
Boy, he was a cute fireman. He looked like he was happy in his fireman.
He was. Look at him. He was cute.
was.
As a fireman. He was cute.
Yeah.
So Beth, okay, so what is autism? If you can define it for us. I know it's so broad, but if you could fill up a blank sheet of paper.
Being a teacher and a psychologist, I'm looking for definitions. I don't want it to be just my words. And when you asked me to define it, I came online looking for a definition. And just like autism, people who have it, every definition was just a little bit different. Just a little bit. And it has changed so much from when my journey with it, 25 years ago to now. Richard is 30. But I found this one, and this one seems to fit. Says a developmental disorder of variable severity that is characterized by the difficulty in social interaction and communication, and can be restricted or repetitive patterns of thoughts and behaviors.
Okay. So you said Richard is how old now?
He just turned 30 the end of February.
Oh, happy belated birthday. And you said it's been your journey for 25 years?
Yes.
So there was 5 years where you didn't know that he had autism?
Well, there was around 2 years of age is when we started to kind of notice some things, about 2.5 or 3. So there was that time between 2.5, 3 years of age until 5, where we were, going to therapists, going to neurologists, trying to pinpoint what is wrong. He developed normally up till about 18 months of age. He was talking. He had a pretty good vocabulary for an 18-month-old. He would say up, down, no, don't, stop. He knew some of his letters in and out of order.
You're a teacher, so of course he's going to know those things. Right?
Yeah. And then it was his 2-year-old checkup, and the doctor said to me, is he talking? Is he starting to put sentences together? And it was at that point I was like, oh, No, he stopped. So he regressed and he started to lose his language and the things that he had already started to gain at like about 2 years of age. And so then at 3, we went into, early intervention because I'm a teacher.
Yes, I know all about that.
Yep. So we started the early intervention, and he was in a PPI, pre-primary impaired preschool. So there was, a lot of different, disabilities in there. And so he was in that preschool from 3 until almost 6. I held him back from kindergarten, hoping that one day he could maybe be, in general ed with supports. But it didn't work out that way. We went to neurologists a couple times. I know the one visit at the neurologist, he said, there was like just a whole bunch of tests that we did. We were drawing blood, checking for Fragile X. There was hearing tests because he would just ignore you. But he could hear a candy wrapper open from the other room and come flying, much like, a neurotypical kid, right? And gosh, now that I'm thinking about it, one of his early hearing tests, they were coming in at such high decibels, he should have been reacting, and he didn't. So they had to put him to sleep and measure his brain waves to see if he was hearing, and that was around, he was probably like 2.5 or 3 during that time. And the neurologist, the one visit, said he might have it, he might not, I don't know, come back in 6 months. So we went back in 6 months. And this time, for whatever reason, Richard was making better eye contact. He was following the simple directions and commands that the doctor was giving. So he said, I don't know, probably not. Just, keep your eye on him. So he was almost 6, between 5 and 6. And we had an educational diagnosis. So that was, having his teachers, complete a checklist of characteristics and behaviors that he displayed, characteristics that I saw, and then a psychologist did some observing, and that's how he was diagnosed.
Okay, so this is what I hear. Like children that have autism, they have a difficult time forming relationships. They don't want to be touched. They don't want to be cuddled. Did you experience any of that?
Well, no.
No.
And that's interesting because just like the definitions, and I've heard this expression that it's, people with autism are like snowflakes. None are the same.
Okay.
No, Richard was very affectionate and very loving. He doesn't have that tactile defensiveness.
Okay.
However, he does have some other kind of quirky things. When he was younger, he wanted his, his button-down shirts. He wanted every button buttoned. If there was a button, it had to be buttoned. He wanted his shoes tied tight, different things like that. But yes, they can be a little resistant to touching.
Okay.
So do you think, too, because there's like theories that it's brought on by vaccines or things such as that, the immunizations, do you think it has anything to do with that? Because you said you noticed he was developing a vocabulary when he was 2, and then it just stopped right about there.
Yeah. This is just my opinion. I think that there is a biological disposition, and that the amount of inoculations that they were giving at that time was probably a catalyst for it to happen, because he was developing normal and he lost his language and he did regress. I know that they have changed the way they make the inoculations. They're not using mercury anymore. And then even as a teacher in the classroom, I was seeing such an increase in those autistic characteristics in children. When we were younger, there wasn't a vaccination for chickenpox. You just got, your mom found out your cousin had them. They took everybody over there, y'all getting them at the same time.
So y'all can be done with it.
But there was just such an increase in it. And since then, they have changed the way they give the vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
They've also changed the way they store them. And, my sister Tracy,
Mm-hmm.
she was nervous when she had, her girls, and she talked to her doctor about how should we do this? This is my family's experience. This is what we see. And
Mm-hmm.
so they did stagger them. They didn't give them in such a high dose at the same
Right.
time. And it was
Mm-hmm.
at his 18 months MMR round of shots that after that we started to see him regress and lose his language.
Mm.
So when he lost his language, did he gain any over the years, or could you mention that now he's like nonverbal? So does he still say those things like he's, and I'm not being insensitive,
No,
that.
no.
But is he like stuck at like 2 or 3? But that his
In a lot of ways, yes.
Mhm.
Richard is nonverbal, so he doesn't talk, but he can communicate. He gets his point
Okay.
across.
Mhm.
His language is really, he says no a lot, nah, nah, like that,
Okay.
no, and he says yes. And if he sees me getting ready, like to go to the store, he'll point to his legs and say, stay. So that means he's not going.
Like going with you.
Nope.
Okay.
He's not going. And I can leave him home alone. He does okay. I'm not going to leave him all day
Okay.
because one of his caregivers said it best. His one caregiver, Julie, said, Richard knows enough to get himself into trouble, but doesn't know enough how to get himself out.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, can I run to Meyer? Absolutely. And I come home, I see he's been snacking, he's got the music blasting. He likes to be
Okay.
alone. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I know just from talking to you, he likes a certain type of music, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's got great taste in music.
Mm-hmm.
He really does. I mean, he's a 90s baby, so he loves 90s R&B.
Oh,
You
no
know?
wonder Tanya, that's Tanya's favorite.
Oh, mine too. More Money, More Problems is one of his favorites.
Okay.
Patrice Russian, Forget Me Nots. Oh, if that
Oh,
comes
that's my
on, he's
jam.
gonna blast it.
Mm-hmm.
They have a TikTok for that now.
Do they?
Oh, they do?
Yes, they do. It's easy. That's one that I could do.
Okay.
So, okay.
And he loves gospel music. So, Israel Houghton and New Breed, he likes those. Yeah.
Wow. So you said you leave him for a little bit at a time, but mostly he has to have 23-hour care, basically.
Yeah, he does.
Mhm. Wow.
Yeah,
And
he needs monitoring and assistance is what I call it.
Okay.
And is he there now, or
No, he's not. He's
so
with his dad.
when he's not with you, he's with your dad. With
His dad.
His dad.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So so Beth, when he was younger and you would go out in the store, and if there's anything that you could say to the people that were like looking at you and Richard, or looking at Richard with his dad, what would you say? Because now there are families out now that have children that are may act out, and there's always constant judgment around people who don't really know or have the knowledge. So if you could just speak to people that are passing judgment.
That's a great point. I have a girlfriend who has a son who is probably in 4th grade now, and he was tough to diagnose because it seemed to be just like he was having behavior problems. And it was a lot of times we look at those parents and we think that they're bad parents. Right? Well, all they need to do is this. And sometimes it's not the case. And even when I see videos that are being circulated on the internet, on social media, oh man, if this is my child, sometimes we don't know, because if somebody with autism, they're verbal and they're cognizant and they're talking, they don't have those filters.
Right.
And they can't see past, and it's really hard when they're super high functioning, because it's deemed as just like their behavior problems. They're rude. They haven't been told, but that's not the case.
Right.
For my friend, her son wound up he tested and he's in the gifted and talented program, but he
Yes.
went through a lot of issues with behavior issues because he was so tunnel vision on following the rules. He might have been in second grade and she got the call that he had choked somebody. And, in class, and apparently the teacher had told another student, turn around. And he said, I didn't choke him. I just turned him around. He wouldn't turn around. The teacher told him to turn around.
Wow. So that's
so very specific. Very, yeah. They don't.
I'm sorry, Kayla, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. No.
No, so that's when they talk about like the spectrum. Like there's autism, and then somewhere you fall on like the spectrum. So and I don't know, is a spectrum like high, low, or left, right, or like how?
It's so hard with this language because you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Right.
But I would say my son is low functioning because in some ways, he is like a 2 or 3 year old. I kind of get the best of both. He loves the music. He loves Woodstock. He loves Christmas. He likes to watch shows. But, in other ways, he is an adult. So I guess it depends. I have a student in my last couple of years who has autism, and he's very verbal. Oh, he's a tech genius. He thinks a lot of others, but he's also getting at that age where sometimes the kids get a little irritated with him, because he keeps moving the desk. He can't get it straight enough.
Right.
That kind of thing. Did I answer your question?
So do it seem like there's a little bit of, I guess, because you said there's so many different spectrums of it, a little bit of OCD-ish.
Oh, definitely.
Is
definitely
in there. Okay.
Sometimes, that or ADD, being impulsive. There's a lot of other, this is the therapist talking. There's a lot of other diagnoses that are comorbid with autism.
Okay.
And sometimes it's harder to detect in girls until they start to get a little bit older.
Yeah, I could see that because they are expected to act a certain way. That's interesting.
See, I didn't know that. And now when I'm thinking about it, it seems like there are more boys that are diagnosed as autism before there are any girls. I can't think of maybe one.
There's a higher number of boys typically. I just have an opinion on that. And I think it's because, they tend to be a little bit more impulsive and act out, and they draw more, attention.
Right. And that's why I was saying I could see that because girls are, I don't want to use, I don't even know what word I'm really looking for, but girls are not as rambunctious as boys. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, I could see how that could go undetected for some time.
And they're quicker to label a boy than they are.
Right.
And as, as the children, as they get older, when they start getting, closer to 10 and 12 and high school, you'll see a lot of anxiety with because it's such a spectrum. It depends on where they fall. Either they're in their own world and they don't care. And that's my blessing with Richard. He's in his own world and he doesn't care. As long as you meet his needs, we're good. Where there's others who start to get to that age where they're like, and I've seen this in my counseling office with talking to them, I want friends, but I don't know what to say. They realize, well, I join in the conversation, but I'm off topic. And they look at me crazy. So then we talk about, okay, well, what are social cues? And, what does that look like? And then you also run the risk of depression because they start to realize I don't fit in. I'm a little bit different.
Right. There's now I don't want to jump ahead because I don't know where Tanya are in her notes, but as a mom who have to do this, 24/7. I mean, and we're all mothers 24/7, but you guys have
it's different.
It's different. How do that weigh on you as far as, your own mental and trying to escape a little bit, you know. And I
Yeah.
don't want to say escape because you don't want to make it like your child is a
No,
hindrance,
no,
but
but
just the mental
Mhm.
part of it, because that
Right.
can be a lot. That can
It
be
is. It
so.
yeah, it is. It is a lot. It's a lot being a mom, period.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
sometimes I look back and I'm like, how did I do it? How did I
Right.
go to school and take care of him? You know,
Mhm.
basically, and I'm really careful with saying a single parent because
Mhm.
Richard's dad has been in his life the entire time. And now
Mhm.
we may not have always gotten along, but he's
Mhm.
a wonderful father. And I
Great.
never take that from him. Ever. When he goes with his dad, I don't even think about him. I don't worry. I know
Right.
he's in good hands. He travels with his dad. But it is
Nice.
hard. And just as of I'd say the last 6 months, I realized, okay, it's hard. It's hard to work a full-time job and come home and be a caregiver, because now at this time I'm a caregiver, and I can
Right.
see it in some of my friends and peers who have to care for their aging parents.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Being a caregiver is exhausting. It's a whole other job.
Right.
Yeah.
So mentally, what do you do for yourself mentally? Because I know you aren't the only one. I mean,
Yeah.
and just relating, just like you said, being a mom, period. There are some days when you just like, and I just have one. So
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
can't
I
imagine,
just have one too.
and you still need that time where you just need to, okay,
Your me
I need to,
time.
yeah, you need some me time. You
Mhm.
and without the guilt. I remember hearing somebody say, you know, if you're a mama, that's what you signed up for, and why would you need me time? But you need
To
what's the word?
decompress.
That's
Decompress.
it. Thank
Mhm.
you, Tanya. That's it. And
Mhm.
it's nothing wrong. I don't ever regret having my child. But what do you say to some, it could be some new parents that are
Mhm.
experiencing this? How what do you
Yeah.
do to, you know?
Well, I think it's important to make sure that you do take that time and to identify and locate all the resources that are available for parents, because there are some out there. Michigan has the Family Subsidy Fund,
Mhm.
and I don't know about the amount now because it ended when Richard was 18, but it was like $222 a month that
Mhm.
you would get if your tax income, whatever you filed was underneath 59,000. Every
Okay.
person, if you had a child with autism, you got that subsidy fund because there were certain expenses that we have. I'm,
Mhm.
for instance, I mean, Richard is 30, but I still have a caregiver now that comes to the house 3 days a week. One
Mhm.
day is my mom. Grandma comes one day, and then we
Aw.
have a caregiver that comes, and we just found her this year, and she was just literally sent from God. Like, there was
Mm.
another family who she interviewed with, and they didn't want her, and then that opened the door, and this is perfect. And she's a retired gym teacher, so she had been retired for 1 year, so she wanted a little bit of a work, but not a lot. And Richard can be, it's so weird. He's like a human oxymoron because he's very easy, but he's not easy. There's
Yeah,
a lot
easy and
of things.
complicated at the same
Mhm.
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, to make sure that you take that time, but identify those resources, because there's respite care that,
Mm.
parents can get, where if you find somebody, you can get a family member who can come in and mom and dad can get a night out, because
Okay.
the challenge is that you just can't get your average babysitter.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And that's where that I was thinking about that because
Mhm.
the average person, for one, might not be trained for
Yeah.
that or might not have the patience. We
Mhm.
even our children that
Right.
we don't have, you are still skeptical about who you're leaving your
Hmm.
children with. So you
Yeah.
don't want to leave your child in the hands of somebody who isn't going to be extra attentive.
Right.
That would be scary.
Yeah.
So I
Hmm.
could just imagine that.
So look, so Aaron said Beth is an awesome mom. I saw Beth and Richard at the store, and Richard was ready to leave Meyer before Beth. So Richard pulled Beth out of the store, and Beth was a blonde blur. He knew that you had to leave when he was ready to go. And is it like sometimes like an oversensory thing for him?
Let's show them. I'm gonna show their picture, Tanya, because they so cute.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, there's Richard. He's my gentle giant.
He's so handsome.
Yes.
And Blair and Beth got the best hair in the world.
You know what? Thank you.
She has the best hair in the world.
Yeah. What's funny is my brother has a funny Meyer story about Richard because he used to go to Meyer with me. We'd walk in and he would take off. He would go get what he wanted. I got to the point where I knew he was coming back, right?
He was coming back with a Coca-Cola, right? A Coke.
No, actually, this was a time where he wanted a Hungry Man frozen dinners. I don't know why. So he would go and go run, but he is obsessed with pop. And he ran, got his stuff and found me in the produce section. And here comes my brother. And he says, I just saw Richard in the frozen food. I go, oh, what does he look like? Because I just wondered. He goes, like a big freak, just went running down the aisle and grabbed this Hungry Man. And he said, I thought, where's Beth? So he did find me. But now Richard doesn't, he doesn't like to go. And he'll send me to Burger King. He hands me coupons. He'll cut them out. That's why I know he communicates that way. He makes his needs known. But like Aaron said, when he's ready to go, he's ready to go. That's it. There's no convincing him. No, we're going to stay. Whether we're at my mom's and it's Christmas, whatever it is.
He like it's time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's time.
Yeah, he has like a limit in him. When he's there, he's like, it's time to go. And Vern also said that you're an awesome mom. Vern Sanders. Yeah. So
thank you.
Now,
there is something that I just want to bring up that I've noticed with having an adult son with autism. So there's a couple of things. And I know I'm not the only one because my one of my mom's friends, she has a grandson who's special needs. And we can't find anywhere for dental care. When he was younger, he went to developmental dentistry, and that was for, special needs kids.
Really?
The last time they had to completely put him out with general anesthesia. And his dad and I were at the hospital, and they came and they told us, okay, he's done. He had some cavities and some of his baby teeth weren't coming out when the adult ones were growing. And when they said, okay, he's done. And we told him, you want us in that recovery room. And they go, no, he's going to be just fine. He's going to be really groggy. And we were like, no, you want us. And they were like, no, we're good. Pretty soon, here comes the nurse. We need the parents of Richard. And he had got up out of that bed and was sitting in the chair because there was no way he was going to be laying in that bed.
He's like, no, this ain't
and
happening.
that was a big deal because we had to bring him in. They had him in the wheelchair. He was in a panic. It took 3 big guys to hold him down in the wheelchair and put the mask on his face to put him to sleep and then move him to the bed. But now he's a grown man and we can't find anybody.
Wow.
And I have him in all of his, he's registered. He has a social worker. He has his care provider who makes sure that, we get everything that we need. And that's just been the biggest obstacle.
Wow.
That and like I said on an earlier episode a while ago, is when he's driving with his dad. Police are involved. They need to know that Richard is, because he's built like a linebacker. He's a big guy.
Right.
Yeah, he is. He's
He's 240, 5'11". He's a big guy, and most of the time, if he's in the car, he just looks mad.
Right.
Yeah. So there's those things, and I did see earlier. Channel 2 did a special. What was that lady's name? Downriver. She's Downriver. I'm just gonna pull it up on my phone because I looked it up before this. I thought I wrote it down. Mimi's Mission is her name.
Okay.
And so she's downriver and she's helping families downriver with autism. And she's working with like Allen Park and Woodhaven police departments.
Yeah, isn't it something you could get for his seatbelt?
Yes, I've seen that for small children,
Mm-hmm.
but not necessarily for adults.
Oh,
Like if we think about it, if like his dad was pulled over in Livonia once, and he's like, "Yeah, we got pulled over in Home Depot," and I'm like, "Did you tell him that Richard's not verbal?" He said, "No, I told him I'm carrying first," and I'm like, don't do that. Tell him he's not,
Mm-hmm.
because he gets a little anxious when you go outside of his routine.
right,
He
right.
doesn't want the door unlocked, or as soon as he gets in, he's signaling to the driver, "Put your seatbelt on."
Mm-hmm.
So let's say
Okay,
his dad took his seatbelt off, to get something, he would be upset.
right.
So
Okay.
I worry about that.
And I
Mhm.
would too if I were you, because I was pulled over for nothing. I didn't get a ticket. I taught myself out of tickets, but I didn't realize that there was another officer on the other side
On
until
the
I just
other
happened
side.
to reach down. I'm like, didn't even see her standing there, so I can
Mhm.
imagine how Richard would feel.
Yeah,
It was like they
Yeah.
exactly.
sneak up on you, and like the
That would
flashlight all in
be
my car. There
that
has
would
to
be
be
my
a way.
fear. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because if they're on the outside and all
Mhm.
they see is this big guy,
Right,
and if Richard points, because this is what he does when the lock is up
Mm-hmm.
right.
or the seatbelt's not on, he's just going to keep pointing. What is if somebody's jumping and it's the wrong day, or
Yeah, see, yeah,
Yeah.
you don't think about that, but
No.
that would make me nervous too.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely. Well, your mom was tuned in today.
Oh yeah, I'm so, that
Yeah.
is so funny you said that. I just looked down at my notes and I was like, you know what? But my mom always, and this is what I was just about to say, my mom always reminds us to find the joy.
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
You
And,
know?
and speaking of joy, can you please show that one picture? And you have to tell us the story. I love the story.
Yes. And we love the Miss Mullins, their
Yes, we
mom,
do.
because
Uh-huh.
Miss Mullins gave us our 1000th follower on the All the Way There podcast. So she will forever be special to
Yes.
us.
Yes.
Okay, here's the
Uh, yes, that's Richard and
With
Woodstock.
Woodstock, not Tweety Bird, Keela.
No,
okay, my bad. I got my birds mixed up.
yeah. But in 2019, a coworker had her first grandchild. So I bought a gift, one of the books and the stuffed animals from Kohl's. And he stole Woodstock out of the gift bag. Well, I couldn't give Woodstock back because I don't know where his hands have been, right? This is a baby. But he spent a good couple of weeks putting Woodstock in a different place every day. Everywhere from on the copy machine to the yoga mat to the nativity scene.
Oh,
What he unwrapped a Christmas present, but then put Woodstock on it like he did it, and people on Facebook really enjoyed that.
I
He
enjoyed
brought
it.
so much joy.
yes.
Mhm.
That
Yeah,
is so sweet.
it is.
Yeah, it is.
Like, who said we have to have what is it, Tanya? What did you call it offline? The elf on the shelf. Who
Oh
said we
yeah,
gotta
elf on
have
the
an
shelf.
elf on the
Yeah,
shelf
you can do
when we
anything
got
on the shelf.
Woodstock?
Woodstock on the
Exactly.
shelf, or like a where's Waldo kind of deal going on. Where's
I
Waldo?
love it. I love it.
Wow. So, Beth, anything else you want to share with us in regards to your blessing, or any parent, anything you want to share with a parent that say, I think something is going on
Mhm.
with my child?
Yeah. So some of the classic telltale signs are sometimes they're overly sensory or
Sensory
overly,
overload.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
sensory sensitive. It might
Mm-hmm.
be smells, it might be textures with foods. I don't want to say picky eaters because some of us are just picky eaters, but
Yeah,
sometimes
everybody.
if you can pay attention, it could be about the textures. Maybe they don't
Mm.
eat cold food, maybe they don't want crunchy food.
Mm-hmm.
um, they don't like the way clothes fit. I'm pretty sensory sensitive also, and it's taken me a while to catch on.
Mm-hmm.
So that a delay in a language, having trouble identifying social cues, or even in the sound of their voice. Sometimes they'll have a different cadence to their voice, or
Okay.
the pitch will be a little bit different. And other times the signs are so subtle, it's hard to pick up.
Okay.
Would you say for Richard, or just anyone, maybe like on his level, that it's best to go to like a private school, a public school, or because Eaton Academy is a school that I hear is pretty good, but my goodness, you have to give a kidney.
I think really it depends on the child, and I think what parents don't realize in public schools is that they have a voice and they can expect a lot of things. I know I write a lot of letters on behalf of parents that I've come into contact who don't know what to ask for or don't know how to ask for it. So I write the letter and here, sign this, and then they turn it in and then things start going. Because some children are fine to be in a general ed room. Maybe they need that general ed classroom, but with supports. And that's with having a parapro that will follow them. I think it all depends on the child. And as they get older, they may not need that support anymore. Then as they
Right.
get older, you've taught them how to advocate for their, self-advocate. I have these accommodations. I don't have to take my test today. I get more breaks. Those kinds of things. For Richard, he needed a special ed room. He was in an autistic impaired classroom, but it was in a general ed building. So he did get that exposure where kids either came into the classroom and helped, or when they went to their specials or out at lunch, that kind of thing. He was in Plymouth schools up until about 17 or 18. And
Okay.
then he did spend time at Berger in Garden City, which is
Oh,
a
yeah.
center just for people with autism.
Yeah, if I'm familiar with that place. So this is Autism Awareness Month, and as you see, we all have on blue because we just want to spread that awareness. If there was something, if you give Keela and I like a charge, or like the viewers that are like watching it now, what would you tell us to do to make people aware, to spread the word? What can we do? What can we do?
I think just to be aware and to hold back on judgment, because we don't always know what's going on, or with the parent in public. We don't always know. I do remember one time Richard and I were in Kohl's and he was young and he was making his noises, and a lady said, "Excuse me, does he have autism?" And that made me feel so good that somebody knew.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I mean, I had my smart mouth retorts always locked and loaded if he deserved it. But just being, or if you see a mother that's struggling, is there something I can help you with without it being, too much? Here, let me hold this. It's just the little things. And even recently, with him being an adult, my best friend since I was 9, she said, I knew you had to be prepared and careful and always looking ahead. Well, I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know. Do they keep their pop out? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Right.
But when she traveled with us and she was in Myrtle Beach with us this summer, she said, "Whew, that was just different. Watching you. Okay, nope, can't do this. Got to do this." Just understand.
I definitely can totally understand that.
Yeah. I think we just need to, just as a people, period, just be more sensitive
I think,
to others,
yeah.
and not so quick to pass judgment on people when they have children acting up in the store or anywhere. Okay, so let me just say, Crystal saying thank you. She learned something again today. The challenges of caring for autistic children. Is Charles Mitchell your friend, Keela, or because
yeah,
Oh,
you
okay.
like family.
Okay, because she has she's a mother of an adult son on the spectrum. So you
Okay.
guys could probably jail Beth and give grace. Yes, Mrs.
Yes.
Nichols, give grace for sure. And I think that was it over for the comments. But what did your t-shirt say? Because I think that's important too. I forgot I want to ask you that. It says, go ahead.
Autism awareness, accept, understand, and love.
You need to learn that.
It's interesting because I just saw this. Somebody had shared it on social media. Of course, everybody's sharing stuff on social media, and I just wonder sometimes if people check out the veracity of it, because puzzle piece is like the symbol of it. Like I have a little puzzle piece necklace that I wear. I get a lot of compliments on it, and what was shared was that people were offended and upset in the autistic community that it was a puzzle piece and that it's no longer supposed to be blue for boys. And all of this stuff, like I have never heard, so I don't know if it's true or not. But I just thought that was interesting that they were moving, but I always took it as the puzzle pieces were, because each puzzle piece is different, right? When you're putting together a puzzle, and they do have a place to fit in. They might not fit in over here, but look, it works well over here.
Exactly.
I just thought that was interesting when I saw that. I had never heard that, and I didn't know if I was out of the autism loop long enough, because now, because he's an adult, we're dealing with Social Security and, caregiving and, stuff like that.
Okay, that's crazy because look at us in all shades of blue. I didn't know that blue was assigned to boys. I'm tired of the cancel culture.
I know. I'm over them.
I can't keep up.
I'm over them.
I am.
So Vern asked the question too.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. He said things not to say or assume. What are some things not to say to someone or assume? So obviously it's okay to walk up to you and say, your son has autism. Or maybe it was the way that it was said, or maybe it was a good day.
Things not to say or assume. I think the biggest assume is assuming that you're a bad parent.
Okay, that's
assuming that you're a bad parent and you don't have control of your child, because you know what? You probably don't.
And you know what trips me out is the majority of the people that say that don't have kids, because I never once look at a person who kid is acting out and be like, girl, if it was me. Because it has been my child before. I mean, she wasn't the type of a child that just act out, but she have had her days. And guess what? As a mother, you hear everybody else's kid when they doing something. You don't hear your own. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because they're your child. So yeah, sometimes I'm always irritated by that statement. If it was my child, and then I'm just like, but it's not.
Yeah.
Anything,
Beth? Try to keep it under an hour. That people shouldn't assume that it's something that a vaccine or something that you ate or
it's not a demon.
Oh
yes.
Tell
us that right quick before we go.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's not a demon. It's not spiritual warfare. Nothing latched on to your child.
And it's not you having a lack of faith.
No, it's not. Yeah, I just was, before we got started, and I'll speak really quick. Before the show started, I was telling the Keela and Tanya, I was telling the ladies that in my early walk with Christianity, of course, I was excited, and God is a healer and he can heal my son, and I believe it, and he's going to do it. And I was told once, well, you as the mother, you don't have the faith yet. You need to get up the faith to get him healed. Well, then he wasn't healing. So then I kept thinking, what's wrong with my faith? And then there was one time at a church, and this was like a deliverance service type, church. And this pastor there told me that I had so much anger towards my father that the Lord had to birth it out of me. So he put the anger on my son, and that's what's
That is the
so
girl.
I just thank God I'm still saved today.
Yes.
Yes, because that right there makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I just
It makes you furious. I mean,
And there's a lot of places, I wanted to go that I couldn't take Richard. I think another big struggle is churches. They have children's church, but there isn't always a special needs children's church. So
right.
then you're struggling and you want to go to church. And I went to a church once and he acted up and we were leaving. And the pastor at that time followed me out to the parking lot. And he said to me, I want you to know you're welcome here. Come back.
Aw.
And I sat there and I cried. I'm going to cry again
Yes.
just thinking about it. And I thought all I wanted to do was go to church. And he said, you
Exactly.
can come back. I don't care if he walks in the back of the church. You do whatever you have to. You're welcome here. And
See,
that
that's a
made
real
big
heart.
difference.
yeah.
That's a real heart.
I'm crying and I'm not even a punk. I promise you.
I know,
No,
because that's touching, because that means that we care about you. Not,
Yes.
can you take your son out, please?
No,
I'm
and
trying
he
to
was
deliver.
getting ready to speak. He was the pastor, and he noticed it and followed us out and said, "You come back. You're welcome to come back."
What a pastor. That's the
Aw.
pastor's heart. That's the way
It is.
Yeah,
It
And that's
really is.
from the head all the way down through all of
Yeah.
his members.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
kind of my barometer of what a pastor should be at that point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy you had that experience.
Yeah.
Not happy you had the other experiences.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not the only one. I know I have other friends who have autistic, children who are older and like in their teens, and they've been offered the same advice, bring, we'll deliver. And no, we don't need a deliverance service. We need understanding and
Wow.
And compassion.
grace.
Yeah.
And grace, like your mom said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you always get that from us. And we appreciate you coming on and spreading the word. And for those of you that are watching now, if you're watching later, feel free to go ahead and throw some questions out there. Well, Beth has time because she's busy. She is a mom 24/7. She is a therapist. She's a teacher. But I'm sure that if you ask some questions, she may be able to get around to answering just to make your life easier.
Or certainly direct them in the
ministry.
point them in the right direction on how to get those services and those resources that are available.
Definitely.
We appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Wear your blue. When you put on your blue this month, think about spreading some autism awareness.
Yes.
Accept, understand, and love always when it comes to autism. Everything, but especially for this month. And I don't like when we just contain something to a month. So the challenge is just take it beyond April.
Exactly.
And if you see a mom or even a dad, someone struggling in the store, don't just pass judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Offer some help of some kind, a little prayer if that's all you could do, because you know what you could do. Pray, or if you just have it in you, walk over to them, speak, and say, "Hey, what can I do to help you?" That will go a long way.
Definitely
we
will.
You.
Thank you, Beth.
Love. Thank you, Beth. And you're not a punk. Never.
Thank you.
I would never put that in a sentence with your name. No, never.
No, not at all.
One of the strongest women I know for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. We appreciate you.
Look, great show, Tanya Keela and Tina Marie. Okay.
That was Aaron, wasn't it?
Yes.
And Tina Marie is one of my favorite people. So, okay, guys, you guys have a great and
week.
Marvelous week.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you,
Thank
Beth.
you.